Alright, the abomination of Minecraft that you're looking at is my gate, and it's opening and closing four fence pieces that, you know, you'd flush this out into a wall 3 thick, and then this would be your gate inwards to get in and out. And obviously this stuff would be hidden. This would be hidden underground. Your switch would lead wiring to it, or your button, or both buttons would lead to it if you wanted 2 buttons, one inside and one outside. I should probably show that it works. Right now it's closed, and now it's open, and then you hit the same button, and now it's closed again. I don't like the little gap on the side here, since fences don't reach out to things next to them unless it's another fence. But it works. It's a start. It's something to run with. The idea was given to me by Drill. I don't know what he wants to be called. I usually call him Drill, but you know, that's me. Anyway, he had the idea of making a gate that opens and closes, kind of like a portcullis, but there's it would be quite difficult to make an actual portcullis that's, you know, tall. These 2 blocks, I mean, you can repeat this as tall as you'd like, as long as you only want it to open 2 blocks, and the only thing limiting you is how tall you want your outer wall to be, really. As long as you only push it up 2 blocks, and you can have those push it back down 2 blocks. I just made it this big because this is, you know, the smallest height you're going to be able to walk through. But the way I made it is this. I don't know who made this originally, but they call it a T flip-flop, and basically what it does is it uses something similar to the monostable circuit design and some RS NOR latches to use a button like a lever, basically. And the advantage of this over a lever would be that you can have 2 buttons like elsewhere that would come and feed into this. Like the 2 buttons could meet up and then feed into this, and either of those buttons would be capable of getting to both states. Whereas if you use levers, if one of them's left on, the other one doesn't work. Well, although you could avoid that with some crafty wiring, but whatever. I'm not nitpicking right now. And then I have 2 monostable circuits over here. Since this outputs a constant signal of either on or off, I have 2 monostable circuits where one will fire when that turns on, and the other will fire when that turns off. So one is for opening and one is for closing. And then the one for opening it comes down here, and these open. The bottom one extends, which pushes these up, and then I send power to this block and the same one on the other side, which extends the top piston, and this turns off before these retract, because if you don't turn the top one off first, the bottom one won't pull it back down because pistons can't move extended pistons. So I have all these repeaters here to extend the amount of time this is open or extended. And then for the top, it's basically the same thing, except I didn't use sticky pistons for the back ones because you don't have to pull them back. It's just when these push the fences up, the fences will push those back into position, which doesn't even really matter, because if there was no fence, them being like that would be fine anyway. They're not in the way. And I just have some inverted torches there to bring the signal to both places, because I have to bring it down there and I have to bring it up to the top pistons. But since this wall can only be 3 blocks wide, I have to do all that in a 1 width environment, which is why I have that torch hanging off right there, because that pulls the signal and puts it down to here where there's dust on that block, and then it also puts power into that block, which just continues along. And then when this block gets power, the power is sent to that, which sends it to the block, which hits the hits the piston. I don't know if this is the idea Drill had in mind or not, but it's something. And I don't know, I think it probably has some interesting applications. I think it would need a little bit more development, maybe get fleshed out a little bit more. And you don't even need fences here. You could also do that with any sort of block. If I were to use this design though, I would make the wall out of wood as well. That way you could have the wood floor, the wood wall, and the fence wouldn't look as out of place because everything else would be wood. Everything else you see would be wood anyway. It would look a little bit more at home rather than the wooden floor with the fences surrounded by stone. I just grabbed stone because it's a fairly clean looking block. But in the actual application, I would bury this. I'd probably have buttons on both sides of the wall. These would obviously be buried. One would probably be above the other. Or actually, I suppose that's not really that necessary. But these would be situated probably either underneath the wall or underneath and slightly offset, so that you could bring the signals up on this one width. That's the real crucial part that gave me a little bit of pause when trying to make this. That's probably what took the longest, was just situating that. Once I figured out the timing, which wasn't that hard. But yeah, that is my mini portcullis, I guess you could call it. And I don't know whether I'm going to revise it at all and clean up the wiring or anything. Maybe if I get bored sometime. I'll see. Yeah, anyway, if anybody else has some ideas, let me know, see what I can do, and I will talk to you guys later.